you don't see the work that people put in to get to where they at.
Talking about the first 3 times you touch the ball.
Yeah.
If you're a starting point guard or 2 guard, I'm looking for either I want you to get a transition 3, or I want you to get a paint touch just to break the ice mentally. Because if I get inside the paint, read the stunt, make a play, you know, get an assist early, or if I get to the foul line, that's gonna calm my nerves early. Or if I just at least chuck up a transition 3, I could kind of set the tone to where in transition, now the defense has to step up. And then now I could kind of break down, attack the elbows and create.
Definitely.
What was kind of your theory in terms of the first 3 shots? Was it just play calls, or is it more freestyle of like head hunting some of your shots?
It was a little of both, but I always knew they was gonna call the first or second play for me. So it was like just in the manuscript, basically, the written out.
So what was your first, if you go back, what's one play that y'all had?
I would say 13 or horn side, which 13 was like a 1-3 sideline screen roll where you'll be right here. And everybody else will clear out. So I'll be coming to set the screen for you. He's Devin.
So he Devin Harris.
So your job is, Devin, to come off the screen, and this whole side is clear. So basically it's me and you. So right now I know I got free reign to do whatever. So I can slip whatever, but we just gonna come off the screen. So once I come off, I'm making sure I'm getting this switch so I can get this small on me. So at this point, if he's chucking me trying to stop my roll, Devin's smart enough to see this happening and knowing that I could just turn and post. So now I'm here in that Michael Jordan post, and now I got you where I want you, because I was one of those guys where, again, I'm just trying to get one foot in the paint, see if a double team coming, I'm kicking it back to Devin, but if not, again, I'm trying to open up and again get back to my unorthodox stuff. It was just my step back.
So the first thing I teach, at least working with the bigs, that chin on the inside. So you naturally, you caught it, and you reading me first and seeing probably, are you looking for the hand check?
I'm looking to see where your weight is. So how you push.
So if I'm leaning this side and I'm forcing middle?
I'm just gonna take it. But also I know my counter is, because I'm a cerebral guy-gesh type player, so if you push me, I take a step back and just rip. And now you gotta open up still. You see what I'm saying? So now if you open up, that gives me that lane to that basket. You get what I'm saying? So
would you work your space too, or is it more so you working your pivots and you trying to open up? And I mean, obviously it's situational, but what was, if you had to choose a go-to move from the mid post, what would
it's definitely gonna be step back. So what I would do is basically make sure this is my pivot foot, my inside pivot foot now, because I like to go to the left and step back. So what I would do, I learned this from Rick Carlisle, is open up like this and get you off of me. So now you see I'm where I need to be at. So now I take a step back just to square you. And then all I'm gonna do is drive you right here and make you think, and just step back just like that.
See, bro, and that's the thing. You was doing step backs before step back was a thing. Our warm up, we would do form shooting. Then we would extend it to like just catch and shoot. In terms of having that nailed foot in the corner, I think we'd work wings and top of the key. And you would just kind of catch, shoot, catch and shoot. But then when we got into the ISOs and the mid post,
that's when it changed.
Boy, that just gave me a nostalgia feel. When you would open up, rip through, and then, but what you used to get me on when I was shadow defending,
so
my hand would be here, and you would always get me on that.
And go.
You would always get me, but then you had a nice touch with the floater.
I used to always have to warm up one hand like this. This is how I got the touch. So I would have to go all the way around the key, all net. So I started getting good at it to the point where it just became natural. So now, say for instance in game, I catch, rip, one dribble, it's the same shot. See what I'm saying? But this was my warm up though. This is how I started warm ups. Just doing this, getting my shot.
Cause see, that's another thing that I'm big on teaching is pickups. How you pick the ball up, depending on, obviously, if you on my hip, you know what I mean? You see a lot of players kind of use this inside forearm to initiate contact. When you picked it up about at your waist, you was able to control the ball up here. And a lot of players don't have that ability.
They don't.
Because they need the guide hand to be able to actually guide the ball. But you had big hands and long arms too, that you could kind of just, you know, push the ball where it needed to go.
And again, I commend that to just doing this. Just doing that warm up, simple, you know, free range, getting that shot, that consistency. Another thing, like you said too, is using these elbows. So again, like you say, ripping, I'm trying to hit you with one of them, boom, give me that space I need to get it up.
Yeah.
So again, elbows and shoulders are big, I would say, always offensively.
Okay.
Because you can get away with chicken wings forwardly.
Right.
Now, you know you can't do it like that, but if I'm driving into you and I can just get you off of it like that, oh, I'm gone.
Paul George is one of the best at it.
Oh yeah.
Obviously James Harden on how he scoops up.
De'Aaron Fox.
And one of the things that you used to do with me, again, when I was shadow defending, but if you guard me, one thing I learned very quick is that if I could get my pivot step outside your base,
oh, I'm gone.
You gone, but then you got to open up. You got to drop that foot.
And to try to chase.
And this arm is always going to swing inside. So one thing I used to learn from you is you used to do this, boom, scoop right here.
That's it.
Right? If my hand was up and you had a little distance over here, you would always kind of come here
in.
too, and then get to that reverse. Man, it allows guys to get to that free throw line. And I think it was your All-Star year, you averaged like 20 points a game.
8 free throws a game. If you're down or up, when you're shooting free throws, the clock is always stopped. So that's a good way to either make comebacks or, you know, again, if you're up, you just got to make your shots.
Change the momentum.
So again, that's why I say when teams are down, why the hell are you still shooting threes?
Every team right now in the NBA plays the same way.
Basically,
They shooting threes or they to the rim.
To the rim.
But back in the day, I mean, you had the battles with San Antonio. They inside out with Timmy. When Bruce Bowen was hitting them corner threes, all they did was they'd have that little triangle over here. And then they would have like a, I don't know, it'd be anybody. All he doing is just trying to suck in, and then you got that skip right to the corner.
That's it.
What was Avery's philosophy when you was playing? Because this is something that I'm curious about, because you had two different dynamic players. You had obviously Dirk Nowitzki, legendary Dirk, but then you had Devin Harris, who was the fastest or one of the fastest guys in the league. So when they both was in, what was kind of the philosophy when you was playing for Avery?
Spacing, number one, especially again in understanding your role. So say for instance, second quarter, we starting to go to Dirk and Devin coming off the screen and rolls and looking for JT more so. So now my role has changed. So like you say, if I see Devin and Dirk in the screen and roll, I'm that slasher guy coming down trying to get a cut because I know everybody's paying attention to them too.
Right, and this is something that I want every player in the world to understand is weak side cuts, but knowing when to cut. How, if I'm Dirk right here on the strong side and you're on the weak side, when did you know to cut?
So the biggest thing for me, of course, and everybody learns this, if you see your defender's head turn on the weak side in this slot position, man, cut, like plain and simple. So I knew that was happening. I also knew Dirk commanded a double team. And it was just finding that simple crease to get into. So a lot of times, again, I would wait for Dirk to start making his move. So understanding if again, Dirk,
and you see me here, are you looking at the angle of your cut? So let's say if I'm
if
a
you
little
high,
bit
I'm
upside,
going behind you. If you that high, I'm going behind you. But
and if I'm low, you going right in front.
And preferably, I'd rather cut in front of your face. Preferably, I'd rather cut your face because now if I do it, you make your move to the basket, and you do it, boom, you cut your face, I'm coming right here.
And then that's how you get them ticky-tack fouls.
But then like you seen how my Dirk Nowitzki came into the paint that time. If I'd have seen him doing that, I would have stopped right here and backed
just
up.
spaced out.
Just spaced up. But and that's another thing. Dirk, you could tell if he was gonna go to work because he would bounce, and if he stayed kind of right here, cut. If you seen him starting to get that foot about right into that paint, oh, he going to work.
Were you and Dirk in constant communication on those subtle cues?
Nope, I just paid attention and he paid attention.
See, dude, that's okay, Jay.
That's all it was.
This is what drives me nuts. I tell Coach, I'm gonna look in the camera. Listen, if you're a coach out there or a trainer, pay attention to what the players are doing, what you teaching. Out of 48 minutes in an NBA game, you're only gonna have the ball in your hands for maybe a minute and a half. You know what I mean? Because there's 24 seconds on the shot clock.
And that ball moving.
By the time you get past half court, there's 16 on the shot clock. The ball's moving, so you got maybe 5 seconds to figure your shit out. But in reality, what I loved about your game is how versatile you was without the ball.
Yeah.
You scored 20 points really without no ISO plays or whatever.
No, nothing. Yeah. Well, I just knew I was like an athlete. So I guess you can say get it how you live.
Yeah.
However I could get it and make it work, I was going to do it. So if Devin got the rebound, I'm running the lane.
Yeah.
Because I know he's going to throw it to me. You know, Dirk got the rebound, we'll slow it down a little bit, but Dirk can still push the tempo. You get what I'm saying? With him being a 7-footer. Know the personnel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So once you get that part down packed, especially in the league, and like you say, with the shot clock running down, like the confidence level gets to the point where you understand who doing what at those particular moments, and then it makes defense easier. Because again, for me, if I can tell maybe like 16 seconds into the shot clock, I'm not finna get a shot or I can't get an offensive rebound. My next job is to get back on defense.
Right.
So again, for me, and I'm preaching on being a coach in NAIA level and seeing guys miss shots and be like,
dude, that shit drives me crazy.
Instead of
get your ass back on defense.
And do better the next time.
Another thing I want to tap into real quick is your defense. You had a certain type of versatility because there wasn't really a lot of pick. Like Dirk was probably him and Chris Bosh, I would say.
Pick and poppers.
Were the pick and poppers, the first wave of the pick and poppers.
KG, Kevin Garnett,
too.
Jesus.
But for you, switching ball screens was kind of that. You was in that first phase of that evolution.
Yeah.
You guarded multiple positions.
Point guards, all that. Yes.
What was some of your factors on the defensive side if you had a guard, a 4 or 5 playing the 3?
Keeping them away from the basket.
Okay.
That first and foremost.
Like what would a little trick you would do if I'm Chris Bosh or somebody and I caught the ball here? What was somebody?
I'm shading because he was left-handed, so I'm shading him to his right.
Okay.
So I would make him basically think he getting middle.
Okay.
But also understanding with him being a left-handed that he gonna spin back. So I'm baiting you to go this way so I can get right back to it. Yes.
Okay.
So that was again knowing your personnel as far as the other team.
Right.
So scout report was big when it came to stuff like that. So basically as a big, again, I know they're gonna try to score quick because they feel like I'm smaller. And with my frame at the time, they didn't think I was strong.
Yeah.
Not realizing like I lifted weights just as much as them, but I had a high metabolism.
Old man strength.
Old man strength. So with that being said, being able to do that with 4s and 5 was big, you know, and being able to be athletically quicker than them. So I would be able to like keep you away from the basket. Even if you pass and got a shot and think you was finna damn run and, you know, get an offensive rebound.
Right.
Nah, I'm chucking you. And then
what about if he was facing up?
Now he's facing up.
If I'm a righty, let's just say it's Tim Duncan. And I caught the ball and I was facing you up. Are you mirroring the ball?
I'm mirroring, trying to swipe. Yeah, just trying to swipe. Just trying to keep you as far away from the basket as possible.
Okay.
You know, because understanding like you're a 7-footer, you might make a shot on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the funnest thing for me, forget the bigs, I like to switch to those point guards, 2 guards.
Yeah.
Because them be the ones that really, you know, can cause damage. And for me to be as tall as I was, I never forget Avery put me on Steve Nash. And Steve, you know, he was doing his thing, but I could tell I was frustrating him. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to keep my length.
Yeah.
Deterring passes, challenges in the shot, you know, things like that. So for me, I just found more excitement in stopping somebody.
Yeah.
Like it's a prideful thing as far as playing defense. So for me, again, defense was like my thing and it fueled my offense. Like I didn't need to score a bucket to get, you know, offensively going. If I get your stop or a steal where I go score, you're gonna have problems with me the rest of the night.
I remember them days, like, man, you had the headband with the 2 wristbands, getting buckets. I remember we playing with you in with NBA 2K on the Dreamcast, getting them damn rebounds. And that was another thing too, man. Like when I used to watch your film, one of the key things is when you was the low man, you know, everybody was running the pick and roll, but when a shot would go up from the weak side, there was actually quite a few moments that you would crash towards the elbows.
Now he dances baseline away from service. The past 2 seasons, here's Howard.
You know, 3-point shot goes up. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a long miss. But everybody's normally crashing at the rim.
Running just like this.
So if you at the weak side, you used to run towards the elbows, get these long rebounds, and kind of just start to break. Was that methodical? Was it just natural for you, or?
It was a natural timing I had.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I knew I wasn't gonna get too many plays ran for me, so I knew this was my opportunity to get that rebound and push the tempo, and just really be a great decision maker. And that helped me, you know, as far as like my pace, time, and score. I like to use those 3 words as far as understanding the pace of the game, knowing when and when not to push the ball, the time, because you never know again what time you need to push the score. Push the ball, and then the score. You got to know the score.
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids, like, man, I have so many shot clock violations, Tim. It's ridiculous.
That's frustrating, man. Have you had any players now that you're coaching actually approach you with that type of IQ, or is it something that you constantly have to teach?
It's something I constantly have to teach, and it's sad because, again, I've told my guys, like in the NBA, if somebody pass you the ball with 4 or 5 seconds on the clock, they cussing your ass out running back down the court, because it's like a seen as disrespect. Like, how are you giving me the ball because you couldn't do nothing in the 10 to 5 seconds that you had the ball? Like, don't just find me as an emergency guy to try to chuck it off a shot. Like, nah, again, you got to be prepared for these moments, and again, be aware of the shot clock, because that dictates a lot of the shots too, and what you're getting. So awareness, and it's simple stuff. That's what's crazy. Like, paying attention to the shot clock, all it takes is a quick glance. And then you know what time it is. Like, you should know the next cut, I should be trying to score or find it, or make a play to make somebody score. You get what I'm saying? Or defensively. One thing my team, and I bring back to them, I went to synergy. First 35 seconds, first 25 seconds, we above average. The last 4 seconds, we are below average.
And that's another thing too, to where I never understood that, especially now with just all the information that's given to these players nowadays, and coaches for that matter. But if I'm on defense, and like you said, if we're competing for 25 seconds, now it's 5, 4. I'm looking at the opposite shot clock on the other end. You know what I mean? I don't need to turn my head and look at the basket that I'm at to see how much time left, but I'm just peeking, even if I'm on the offensive side. You know what I mean? You catching, I'm gonna look down there at the shot clock, I got 3 seconds, that means I got 3 dribbles to work with, and I gotta get it up.
Again, back to just simple being aware. Like, and that, again, basketball, again, some guys make it hard, some guys don't. It's just really your mental, retain and reciprocating the information. Like, you got to be able to.
What was your go-to move off the dribble?
Well, I know going right, I was trying to get to the basket. So whatever it was, I was getting my strong hand. I try to hit you with an in and out, then I'm gone. Like, so I just need that quick split-second lane. I mean, I worked on my game, but I definitely like to do the in and out cross. Going left, because I knew I was limited, and it's okay with the camera. It's okay to be limited as a player. Just be efficient with what you're limited with. So again, for me, driving left, I knew it was a step back. So I knew if you was riding me to the point where you was guarding it, boom, step back, I got my shot. Now, if you guard it, the next part of it is, again, step back. You catch up with me, then I'm crossing, come back to my strong hand. So I'm still getting, back to my hand, and I understand that these are the moves I got. Anybody can just catch the ball and shoot. Now, it takes a real shooter to really do that consistently. Now, I would do that. I wouldn't do that behind the well, I was pretty good at 17. College threes, if it was a college three-point line in the league, I was nailing them. So anything like that, again, I knew what I could do. I would shoot it. But if it was like just a step out here, oh no, I'm not just gonna casually cast. It's like an open jump shot. So
again, for me,
guy. Just understanding what I can do good and what I, need to work on. So
you would never just catch the ball, put the ball down. It was, man, give me that shit. I'm gonna get right here. And then even if I did cut you off and took that step back away, you would just hit me with that dribble mid post, and then just work here with that floater or that little jumper fade away.
And I forgot about that. I did used to love that dribble mid post. So if you would beat me, boom, I'm getting up, and now I can play. Now I can just craft and dribble you in. And get that drop step, anything, where I still got it. Even going right with the step back, I still could do it, but I like going left better. You know what I'm saying?
Shoulders are already squared up. A lot easier.
And I can honestly say I was can't even say it. I like to use my left hand.
You would be right here with your table doing the autographs at your basketball camp, and I would have to give you the basketball cards or whatever to autograph. And you would be right here, and I remember because you always had the
my watch on the left,
and you would write with your left, and I'm like, damn, how the hell does that happen when you shoot right-handed, but you actually write left-handed?
So both my sons are like that. Both of them left-handed, but they write right-handed. Like, I just took my son to Dave & Buster's yesterday. We doing a little basketball thing. He's doing everything right-handed. As soon as we go to school or whatever, left-handed writer, all that. So
man, that's crazy.
I don't know if I got special powers. I don't know, but I'm thankful I got it.
Man. a lot of people don't know that you was actually my first client.
Yes.
And we were just talking earlier about 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
You had just got back from playing with the Wizards.
Yep. Getting over a major injury.
Yeah, you had that knee injury.
Yep.
I know your manager, OT, he had hit me up and said, hey, Josh needs to get some shots up and we got to get ready for this offseason. I just remember the impact that had on me, man, because one, I didn't know what training was. There was no such thing as a trainer, but just the impact you had on me because, bro, it was you and I would say Terrell Owens was the biggest names in Dallas. Because you were just coming off your All-Star year. I mean, you had a massive fan base and I was a huge fan too. So to be in the same vicinity as you was a big deal to me. And it changed my life. We'd walk in the gym and you would tell me and kind of instruct me on what to do, on how to teach you.
Well, I think one of the things you said earlier in those times is that you was correct. There wasn't too many trainers. A lot of the trainers were in-house at the team you played for. So again, a lot of the stuff that I knew that I needed to work on, especially when, like you say, OT reached out to you, were things that I knew that would keep me efficient. Keep me in the game, knowing that if I got to that spot, I knew what to do. And it always led back to the confidence I had in myself and the confidence that the team had in me because they knew if I got to my spots, 9 times out of 10, I was going to do the right thing. So I definitely wanted you as a trainer, but I also wanted you to understand that we needed to be efficient. Because you said something too earlier that made sense to me. My kids were younger, and I think your son was young too, but we needed to make time for them too.
You never showed up late.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that was a military thing when you was at Hargrave, but you was just like if I said, hey, let's go at 10 a.m. or whenever the time was in the day, shit, you was going to be the first one there. And I think it was a couple times you beat me there, and it woke me up. It's like, oh shit, I got to be on my shit in terms of being there early.
I'm gonna say I learned it from that Howard last name. Like you got that last name with you, that Samson Martin last name. So that was like family instilled as far as always being on time and not wasting nobody else's time. I still use that as a quote as far as me coaching right now. But that was like one of the biggest things in military school, just enhanced it, you know, as far as like being on time. If you're 15 minutes early, you're late. You get what I'm saying? So it was things like that that made me realize like people's times is important, you know, and again, I wanted to get in there and make sure I was strict. So by the time you got there, we ain't have to sit around and wait for me to get warm. It was just like, let's get into it.
When I started working with some of these guys like the Tyrese Maxeys or Trae Youngs, when they were, you know, middle school, high school, I would always try to bring that element on what you taught me about the intangibles. Your approach really probably is the most important thing outside of your play, but you got to be able to show up on time and be a professional. That impacted me to a whole nother realm that you'll probably never even know.
What you took from me and what I took from my journey is just being professional. I mean, as a man, understanding, you know, going from high school being a man to college and having to work your way back up the ranks. Then doing it again in the NBA where you're at the bottom of the totem pole, but you have to find a way to get your team to trust you, to play you more. And it's all about being professional. You know, just understanding who you are as a person and growing up. As
a coach now, what's probably one of the hardest things that you have to teach with this newer generation?
I hate talking about, but it's the truth. Social media and all these websites have given these kids that instant gratification, where they automatically think whatever they do is the best thing since sliced bread when it's actually not. Or you don't see the work that people put in to get to where they at, and you think just because you posted a picture, like, you know, everybody thinks you're the best basketball player.
That shit drives me crazy.
It drives me crazy, but you know, it's the generation. I don't fault them because it was things that we did in our generation, but we didn't have access to the stuff that they had, and I feel like they have more access to what we had. They should take advantage of it.
What was your pregame routine like?
It was basically the same thing. We would have our shoot around that morning, maybe like 11 to 12. One of the places we would go to was either Papados or Brothers Chicken in South Dallas. Like, I still remember it like it was yesterday. I get home, you know, by then the games were at 7:30, so we had to be back by 5:30. So shoot arounds, be home by like 1, take me about a 2-hour nap. Definitely not answering no phone calls, not dealing with no girls, no none of that, because I want, like you say, I'm putting my stuff in compartments. We got a game. I got to be that first guy that scored 11 points in the first quarter. That was my role. You know what I'm saying? After that, you know, I'm not letting nobody coming in trying to distract me from what I got to do as my job. So that's basically it. Then I would get up, get to that gym, and after the game, you know, wind down and be ready to, you know, get ready for the next game. Because mentally, again, win, lose, or draw, you got to be able to turn the page.
You bring up the 11 points because I got a method myself where I'm telling all my players, we talk a lot about first quarter shots.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a starter.
Yeah.
There's probably like 3 or 4 shots that you got to take just to find your rhythm.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And you can't worry about making the shots. You just got to take them.
Yeah.
You talked about 11 points. How did you get to that point?
I think just knowing the game was on and the pure excitement for me was like, if I got what I got, I knew Dirk was going to be comfortable. I knew JT was going to be comfortable. Devin and all those guys was going to be like, all right, Josh is in his rhythm.
Yeah.
It's our turn next. Doing that, understanding like I got to get these points in these certain spots. So again, like my short corner, they called it the Michael Jordan post.
The greatest things I appreciate about you is your humility.
Yeah,
like you said, man, because allowing me to come into your circle at that time, the things I saw, the things I was going through, you uplifted me in so many different ways that propelled me to be the man I am today.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. I could never repay you back enough for that. And everybody in the league that's in this fraternity, everybody that says Josh Howard, they all know, you know, you're a real one. So thank you for your time, my man.
You too,
Appreciate
TV.
it. Thank you,
Thank
man.
you, bro.